Hey guys, it's Lizzie. So today I just wanted to talk about and process with you guys the third trimester abortion laws that have happened in New York and almost happened in Virginia. And I really want to talk about this from a mental health perspective, just because a lot of the third trimester abortions, one of the things that it's done for is if it's mental health, psychological, the most dangerous mental illness to get pregnant with is bipolar disorder. And as someone who has bipolar disorder, I have done dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds of hours of research into bipolar. I've spent so much time researching pregnancy. I remember in 2017 when I was considering becoming Catholic, I refused to become Catholic because of the birth control thing. My thing is that if I became Catholic, I was gonna never get married, never have kids, just because the idea of becoming pregnant against my will and being forced off my meds was terrifying. So, but if you are don't know anything about bipolar, there are certain meds we can go on, but in general, it's the most dangerous mental illness. And so when I read a lot of these stories and they're talking about psychological, mental threats to their life, I think a lot of people have complete misconceptions, fake news about how bipolar affects a pregnancy. And so I have a lot of studies and stuff linked in the description, but I'm going to talk about them and talk about kind of the risk factors for bipolar disorder. And yeah, because everyone keeps saying mental health, psychological. So I actually want to talk about what it's actually about. So I'm going to tweet this out to everyone. And something else I want to talk about in this video is how I used to be pro-choice for a long time in high school, college, and I kind of want to explain why other people are pro-choice, because I think that a lot of Christians, conservatives, Catholic Christians, I think a lot of people just don't even understand the liberal perspective. And so I kind of want to explain it just because I think it's important to understand the other side's positions just so we can communicate and dialogue better. So, I tried streaming this before and the internet kept failing, so that's why this is the fourth time I'm trying to do this, and the chat keeps getting frozen, so I can't read anything you guys are saying right now, but eventually it will unclick. So, yeah, so the first thing I'm going to talk about, and then we're going to go into mental health with abortion, and I'll read what you guys are saying, and it'll be kind of a group discussion. So, when I was not Catholic, I didn't believe in a soul for several years. When I was in college, towards the end of college, I didn't believe in a soul. I was a Christian physicalist. But even before that, when I did believe in the soul, I had no reason to think that the soul became part of the body during the zygote stage. There was no evidence. Who could know that? And so I think that a lot of Christians could be pro-choice and they don't think that it's murder because they don't know when the soul connects with the body. And so as a Protestant, I thought that either the soul became part of the body when the baby was born, or maybe it started developing when the baby was a fetus. I didn't know. And so that's why a lot of people don't think that abortion is murder. And if someone is a physicalist, doesn't believe in the soul, thinks that the body is all that there is, and then they're showed images of the baby developing, then I don't really understand why people don't think that that's a person. If you're only a physicalist and it has eyelashes, it's yawning, it has a heartbeat, all of these things, yeah, it's difficult to understand their position. But I hope that's helpful if you've been pro-life your whole life or Catholic your whole life. A lot of people just don't believe in the soul or don't understand how the soul interacts with the body. So I wrote kind of a list of research and everything I want to talk about so that we can get over it. And again, your chat replies are still frozen. So in a couple minutes, I'll get dozens all at once. So, also real quick, I just want to plug my Patreon and my PayPal. That's going to be linked below. A lot of YouTubers have PayPal, Patreon, sponsored videos. YouTube demonetizes all of our videos. Anytime you make a controversial video about mental health or conservative politics, automatically demonetized. So the way that a lot of YouTubers make our living is through sponsored videos and Patreon. I do YouTube full-time, 60, 70 hours a week. So this is my full-time job. So if you really like my ministry and what I'm doing, below you can find my Patreon, PayPal, and if you can't afford to help me monetarily, just don't get annoyed when I have sponsored videos, because that's how I'm able to do YouTube full-time. So back into the video. So just some background. So Roe v. Wade says that states can regulate or even prohibit abortion after the point of fetal viability, which is 24 to 28 weeks, as long as they make an exception for abortions that protect the mother's life or health. So in 1973, original Roe v. Wade, that was an exception. And then right after that, there was another Supreme Court decision, Doe versus Bolton, also in 1973, and it specified that the health of the mother refers to all types of health: physical, emotional, psychological, familial, and the woman's age relevant to the well-being of the patient. So basically, it's not just physical health, but mental illness is also included. And I think a lot of the psychological, familial, a lot of that is really ambiguous what it even means. So since I have bipolar disorder and have done so much research on pregnancy, I'm just going to say some basic stats about why bipolar is dangerous and why. Oh my gosh, I see all your comments now. Yay. So I'm just going to share some facts about when bipolar is the most dangerous. And guess what? It's not at the 8th month or 9th month mark. Bipolar is the most dangerous at the very beginning of the pregnancy. So during the first 3 trimesters, that's when a lot of but like lithium, Depakote are the most like intense mood stabilizers. And then the medicine I'm on right now, which is called like quetiapine or Seroquel, all of these have like a D or an F rating by the FDA as being the most dangerous. They will cause like permanent neurological damage, destroy the heart of the baby. So during the first 3 trimesters, especially, you have to be completely off meds. I've read so much about this, so I can make like a 15-minute video on all the specific meds and like the chances of hurting the baby in different ways. But one of the medicines I'm on, Lamictal, I have seen newer research saying that I can be on it during the entire pregnancy. So obviously, if I get married and am wanting to have kids, which as a Catholic, marriage is about having kids as well. So I'm obviously going to do a ton of research, talk to my doctor, but based upon what I've seen, there are certain medicines that you can be on for the entire pregnancy if you are bipolar. The problem is that the strongest medicine, so the antipsychotics that specifically get rid of mania, those ones are the most dangerous. You should not be on at all. There are cases, like the reason that they know that it could cause a heart defect is because bipolar is so dangerous being off meds that they're like, it's better to just have the mom on meds and have like a 5% chance of killing the baby rather than being completely off meds, because if she's manic or depression, she will like accidentally kill herself or commit suicide. So it's too dangerous to just be on meds. So does that make sense? So in some cases, they think that the bipolar is so extreme, it's better to just be medicated. But for most people, you have to completely go off meds. And after the 3 trimesters, there's certain meds that they think are safer to be on. But the most dangerous phase of pregnancy, from what I've read, is after giving birth. A lot of people go into postpartum depression just because your hormones are super messed up. So for bipolar, you're super likely to go extremely manic or severe depression after giving birth. What's most likely is going extremely manic. So so the first thing I want to talk about is what happens. Does the same like postpartum hormonal effect happen if you have a miscarriage or late term induced abortion? Do you still have that like hormonal effect? Yes. So if you're having a late term abortion or giving birth, it's still going to affect you the same way. Does that make sense? So if you do have bipolar and it's really bad and you're like, I should just do a late term abortion rather than giving birth, you're still going to have that same like awful period that can make you go really manic. So, and what I don't understand as well, like specifically with bipolar, which is literally the main mental illness they're talking about. So if giving birth is something so awful, which is the only awful thing besides like the first 3 months and like the entire pregnancy. It's not like, 8.5 months, this is horrible, I need to get an abortion for my health. Like the whole pregnancy, you're basically off meds. So after giving birth, you can immediately go on all your medication again and just not breastfeed. So for bipolar disorder specifically, which is the main like psychological mental health exception for late term abortions, just give birth to the baby, have a C-section, and then immediately medicate the woman who is bipolar. And I am pretty confident that I will not breastfeed if I'm in a really bad place, just because the medication goes through the breast milk. And so I think like people reading this who don't know much about bipolar might think that it takes a long time for the medicines to kick in, so it's better to just not give birth, not have a baby. But psychiatric medications kick in really fast within a few days, within a week. And I know if I was having a really bad reaction to giving birth, like I was super manic, I was hallucinating, trying to start a new religion, or suicidal, I would just go to a psych ward for a week and be super medicated. It's not something to where you shouldn't have the baby. Does that make sense? Like, you're going to have the same, very similar psychological effect. Something else I found really interesting when researching is that if you ever have an abortion, or you have a stillborn baby, or you have a, what is it called? A miscarriage ever in your life, in subsequent pregnancies, you're more likely to have postpartum depression or any psychiatric illness reaction. Does that make sense? So if you had a miscarriage, or you had like a late term abortion, or I think with the abortion, it has to be like later abortion. So if you've ever had that, for some reason, it affects your hormones in a certain way so that in the future, you still have a really high risk of going really manic or going into severe depression or really bad anxiety, like if you already have a mental illness. So the late-term abortion will still really negatively mess up your mental health if you have a child in the future. So it's not like if I have a late-term abortion, there's zero effect to my mental health. Like, it's going to affect you the same as if you gave birth. So I agree with you on childbirth. I want kids and I'm bipolar. What happens when you're prone to depression and antidepressants don't seem to work for you? So are you specifically talking about with birth? There are like 25 different types of antidepressants. So I would say it's like, I've heard of cases where the medications don't work. You know, they tried shock therapy, nothing works, but that's probably like 0.00001% of the population. And they're constantly creating new antidepressants. So I don't think that's like a valid argument. Like, if someone said like, I've tried every medicine, like, have you actually tried every single medicine? Probably not. Sorry, I'm seeing if antidepressants don't work, try meth. Okay, you can get deleted from my channel. That's actually something that's really dangerous with bipolar. The reason we're so much more likely to become alcoholics, cocaine, any drug, is because we're trying to self-medicate to get out of the depression or make our mania calm down, which is actually something I read when people are talking about like risk factors for why you should probably just medicate a bipolar woman, even if that could cause like permanent heart or neurological damage to the baby. They said that if you're off meds, you're so much more likely to start like abusing alcohol or going to drugs. So sorry guys, if you're watching, I'm gonna try to read through. How does it feel to be off your meds? If it's too personal, you don't have to answer. I feel like I've talked about this in so many videos, but I forgot to eat, guys. So if you have been in my live streams before, you'll recognize I'm eating like my rice and kale, and I have fake meat as well. I was just getting so intense because this is such a serious topic, so it's hard to do like a chill, like sit down video talking about it. So I personally go off my meds like every 8 months, and it's different every time. It depends on if you're in like manic depression, mixed episode. But for me, I think being off meds manic is more dangerous, just because like I've driven manic and I've like gotten a car accident, speeding, running red lights, and then I'll also just like get lost in a city alone, walking around at night. You could like spend $10,000 in a single day. I feel like it's really destructive. And if I was off meds and manic while pregnant, I would just need like constant supervision and not be able to be alone to deal with that. But when it comes to bipolar, if you're working out every single day and going to regular therapy, I think that will somewhat help. But if you are just having a really bad manic or major depression episode, there's really nothing you can do, except the medicines that are less harmful while pregnant for bipolar are the ones that are going to help depression. So the super intense, like Depakote lithium, definitely could kill your baby. Don't do it. Well, not like 100%, but it, like, you have like pretty high likelihood, so you probably shouldn't try to be on it. But the medicines that are more chill, like antidepressants or stuff like Lamictal, which is a more like chill anticonvulsant medicine. So basically what I'm saying is that it's easier to treat depression while pregnant than mania while pregnant. Rachel, can I have a review? I just got here. You can actually watch it later. It's going to be posted on my channel. But basically, I'm just talking about the like third trimester abortion laws in New York and the one that tried to pass in Virginia. And one of the main things is the physical health or the emotional, psychological, mental health. And bipolar disorder is the most dangerous mental illness to have while pregnant. So when they're saying like mental health, they're talking about bipolar disorder. So I did a ton of research, and I'm talking about the risk factors of postpartum depression or having a manic episode after giving birth, and if you had like an induced abortion. So I'm talking about why for bipolar it wouldn't make sense to have an 8th trimester abortion. If the baby's already viable, just do a C-section and immediately medicate the person. It's not going, like, it doesn't help at all in the treatment process to just have an abortion, because you're still going to have those postpartum effects, which could make you go really manic or into severe depression. And also, sorry if this is repeat, guys, but for people who just got here, and again, like linked below, I have all the studies talking about this, but if you've ever had a miscarriage or an induced abortion, that makes you more likely to have postpartum depression or more likely to have extreme anxiety, manic episodes after giving birth, like for future pregnancies. So when it comes to like an induced abortion at 8 months, if you're bipolar, that's increasing your risk factor for like at the moment for having the psychiatric effects or for future pregnancies. Oh my gosh, I lost everything. Is that chocolate cake? I just started my diet. No, it's actually really healthy. It's rice and kale, and I have some fake meat in it as well. And I sauteed jalapeno and garlic. Hey, Lizzie, can I send you a gift? I don't have a P.O. box. I tried to make one. It was so difficult because, like, I wanted it in my YouTube name, so my actual name is totally different than Lizzie Rize, and I had to like sign up in the state as like a business, and it was just so difficult. So I'm just like, I won't get cards and stuff anymore for the first part of my YouTube channel. So like when I was in college from like 2012 to 2016, I had stuff sent to my like Pepperdine P.O. box, and I got so many gifts and cards, and I felt really loved. So now I don't feel loved. I'm just kidding. What's the topic here? We're talking about abortion in New York. Wow, I love your mom for not... Oh, she's talking about someone. I want to read what they're talking about. Football fans are like roaches. You can never get rid of them. But they're not in the live stream right now, right? Because they're watching the game. Lizzie, do you like football? Yes. So like to play football, like I'm always pro sports. I like either cross country, track, ballet growing up. I absolutely love when people do group sports or any type of exercise. It's amazing. I have a big problem with the like national football, whatever it's called, just because it causes all the concussions cause extreme brain damage. And when these men get to being like 40 or 50, they kind of go crazy. Like they get extreme dementia, all these like crazy psychological effects where they have complete memory loss, like anger bursts, like crazy things. And so because they have helmets, one of my friends was talking to me about this, how they could just change the football rules and it would help. But because they have helmets, people like jump like that with their helmet. And so they're getting injuries that wouldn't happen if they weren't wearing helmets. Like my friend was saying that people who do like non-tackle football or something. Anyways, I don't know football terminology, so I don't know how to explain this, but I used to be really, really against football, like philosophically, because I thought it caused like really bad brain effects in the football players. But recently I found out that if they just change the regulations and like get rid of certain football moves and make them illegal, then it wouldn't cause like this extreme brain problems in the people. So yeah, I absolutely love sports. I personally don't watch sports. If one of my friends like played football, I get into it. Like one of my guy best friends played football and he would talk about it a lot and I thought it was super cool. But personally, like I don't watch sports. I am here and love football, not commercialized nonsense. What can we do to help make America more pro-life? So that's what I was talking about during the beginning. I think that I have a really good perspective because I used to be pro-choice and I used to think that abortion wasn't murder. And the main problem is dualism versus physicalism. So dualism is you just believe that there's more than just the physical, that there is a soul, that there's a spiritual element orchestrating the world. And so people who do not believe in the soul have no reason for thinking that a zygote is a human, that an embryo is a human, that a second-month baby is a human. There's no reason. I mean, you can say, yeah, the heart is beating, but how do you know, like, that's a person? And so the reason that a lot of Christians are more likely to be pro-life is because we believe in the soul. But until I was Catholic, I didn't believe that the soul implantation occurred so early. I didn't know. So that's why a lot of people are pro-choice. Lizzie, I'm feeling really distant from the church. I love God and the connection is fading. Any advice, please? Just read your Bible a ton, read church fathers a ton. I feel like I connect with God and I connect with the church the most when I'm just like encompassed with people from the church. Like when I started falling in love with Catholicism, I was just reading the documents from the very beginning of the church. You can go to earlychristianwritings.com and then click on the church fathers tab and they have chronological every document from the early church and they're all like really short, like a single page. So if you want to feel more involved in the church, just read writings from Christians through the years and read the Bible. That's what I recommend. I used to be pro-choice. God forgive us, Lizzie. Check your Wi-Fi. I know, guys, I'm sorry. I'm at my best friend's house and what are we talking about? We're talking about abortion. Real question, are you close to the Virgin Mary? I'm not as close as some people are, but like I prayed to her today and yesterday. And I've been praying a lot to Augustine lately. It's my boyfriend's patron saint. Sorry guys, I'm gonna keep talking in a second. I just made you a moderator who you were saying someone was being like abusive or something. What's good, Liz? I just arrived. We're talking about the abortion laws and you can rewatch this once it's uploaded, but I basically talked for like 15 minutes about how bipolar affects pregnancy because that's one of the main things that people can get late-term abortions for. It's for like the woman's health, and bipolar disorder is a huge part of the woman's health for mental illness. It's like the most dangerous mental illness to have while pregnant. So I was just explaining, like go watch the whole video, but I was explaining how late-term abortion does not help that much if you're having problems with bipolar. Just delivering the baby and immediately going on medication would be the best. I'm reading through. The user with first name is just trolling. Okay, so I'm gonna make you a moderator as well. Oh, you're already a moderator. Lizzie, what can we do? Oh, yeah. So that was the original question. What can we do to make people more pro-life? We have to just explain. We just have to get a society that believes in dualism and believes in a soul. Until you can explain to someone that someone has a soul, I feel like there's no reason for someone to think that it's a person if they don't have a soul. So, ew, fake meat. Okay, this is actually really good. It's like the Beefless Tips by, I actually should go, I'm gonna go to the freezer and show you exactly what company this vegan YouTuber I watch recommended it. And I was shocked because I don't eat a ton of fake meat. So these Gardein, they literally taste like meat. My best friend I'm staying with had them and she's like, wow, this is meat. And she's not vegan at all, so she actually knows what meat tastes like. So these I super recommend. It's like eating steak or beef. They're really good. And they cook really fast. Oh, guys, real quick. And the other fake meat I eat a lot is this thing, and all my friends who have tried this say that it literally tastes like taco meat. Morningstar Veggie Meal Grillers. And basically, I make like taco meat and burritos. I use this, and you can just put taco seasoning on it. And yeah, growing up, we always had tacos, and my mom would use this. And I had no idea it wasn't meat. My mom lied to us. So that's what I'm going to do to my children too. Actually, I've thought a lot about like how I'll explain veganism to my children. My goal is to be like complete vegan pregnancy, complete vegan household and stuff. And so I think I'm going to like explain to them really young how other people murder animals. And I feel like as a kid, you're not used to like eating meat, eating dairy, like it's just a new thing. And so I think if you explain to a child what it is, they'll like have such a pure perspective where they wouldn't want to eat an animal. This is chocolate almond milk. It's so good. I'm treating myself. Usually I eat like super healthy, but I'm actually like really good about eating because I think a lot of people when they try to diet and stuff, they are like, this is healthy, this isn't healthy. But anytime I want to like snack on like ice cream or a cookie or anything, I just eat it. So I feel like I love eating healthy, but if I want to eat something unhealthy, then I do. I never have like a restrictive attitude about my food. I'm going to try to catch up on some of your comments. Do you keep the Sabbath holy Saturday or Sunday? I keep it on Saturday. I don't do that. I should start. What are your guys' ideas? I feel like I'm a workaholic and I work all the time. And I'm not very scheduled with my relationship with God. Like lately, I've started praying like every morning, every night, mealtime. But usually I'll be like, let's read my Bible for an hour and a half. Let's do rosary intensely. You know what I mean? I don't do like every day scheduled. So that's why the Sabbath thing I've never done, but I really want to start. In Rome Sweet Home, Kimberly and Scott, they talked about how they did the Sabbath on Sunday and they were in grad school and they never studied on Sunday. So that really inspired me and I want to start doing that. I feel like if I have a family, I'll definitely employ that. But right now, it's like I live with so many non-Christians, so it doesn't feel any different. LOL, an abortion stream has turned into a food recommendation video. Well, it's actually related because I don't believe in killing animals either. One of my friends who's not Catholic like goes on rants a lot about how much she thinks like the Republican positions are so hypocritical, and she's like, "You're pro-life, but you're also pro-capital punishment. You don't like healthcare." She's like, you kill animals. So I feel like a lot of people point out contradictions in the Republican agenda. Like I'm someone who's like completely consistent on everything. Like when I say pro-life, I'm super pro-healthcare, pro-environment. So we're not killing people by toxic chemicals in the environment. I talked about this in my 2 videos ago. I talked about how Trump undid regulations that will kill people. Like toxic chemicals that factories use and stuff. So I'm against that. And I hate capital punishment. I think we shouldn't be super imperialistic with our military. And I don't kill animals. So I'm like pro-life all the way. Like I'm like super pro-life more than other people. I'm only for abortion if a woman was raped. So that's interesting. A lot of Catholic countries, oh my gosh, I should find this. So there's a website that shows like all the abortion laws all over the world, and it's really fascinating. So in Mexico and Brazil, although Brazil recently changed, so they're Catholic majority countries, and abortion was illegal except in cases of rape and incest. So I don't know if people could get behind that because I feel like in the US, there's never going to be any compromise on abortion because everyone hates each other. But if we could actually sit down and like the Republicans and Democrats could agree, I wonder if Republicans could agree to have an exception if they could get like the rest of it deregulated. Hi, Lizzie. How are you? I had a really amazing day. We were at the park. I went with my best friend and her baby and one of our other friends. And we were like, her other friend is like, how old is she? Like 10. And so we were just like sprinting around and like there were different, you know how some like parks and playgrounds have those exercise machines? We were doing those. and just, yeah, like the grass and the water and like a tiny bit of photo shoots, but just like sprinting. And then on all the playground things, I did like pull-ups and like ab things. Although I cannot do a pull-up anymore, which I'm super sad about. I was so intense working out my arms in like 2016, 2017, and I could like do like sets of push-ups, and like I did a pull-up 2 times. I've done a pull-up. So that's my goal now. I want to get back to having super strong arms. So I've been doing a ton of like push-ups and like tricep dips and like, yeah. It's buffering big time. I'm sorry, guys. I'm at my best friend's place. I don't have another internet option. Good night, Matt. I'm so happy that you're going to read your Bible. That's super sweet. I follow a vegan diet too, and I'm extremely pro-environment. I love the way you put it, Lizzie. Pro-life all the way. Yeah. And that's why a lot of people don't take pro-life Christians seriously, because they're like, you only care about the baby when it's in the womb, and after that, like, you don't care at all. So something else that I'm really pro-life about is adoption and foster care system. Republicans consistently try to cut funding to the foster care system. And I know, like, I personally want to adopt at least 2 children. And so I think if you're seriously pro-life, you should be like adopting kids, so that people who are in those situations will be like, wow, the Catholics adopt every kid in the foster care system. If I go through with my birth, my baby will be adopted by an amazing family who will nurture my child. So that's why I think like we should all adopt children, and then people couldn't be like, it's gonna go to like a bad foster care home. I know you said you work out. Have you ever used a rowing machine? Yeah, I have, but I haven't been into the gym lately. I've just been doing like body weight stuff and running outside. I used to be really into going to the gym, but lately I've just been outside. Jesus loved meat. Okay, I'm not gonna go into like the standard American diet versus the ancient world, but they did not eat the standard American diet. Are you the person who thought you were trans? I do not have gender dysphoria. In regards to the original topic, I look at it as a human life, and the only time you are justified in ending is in self-defense or certain medical situations. So that is the perspective of a non-Christian. Good night, Matt. So I want to talk more about abortion because I did all of this research on it. So something that a lot of people say is that like only 1.3% of abortions are after like a certain amount of time, like after 23 weeks. And that's something I hear a lot of people say in these arguments, like, oh, it's only like this percentage of women who are affected by that. And I feel like that's a really bad argument, because if it's literally murdering a person and you're like, oh, it only happens to like 12 people, like that isn't an argument. Yeah, it's not an argument. It's like a red herring. Talked about that. Yeah, so I basically covered everything I wanted to with the whole bipolar part. And so with like extreme mental health situations, the most dangerous part of the pregnancy is the first 3 trimesters and directly after giving birth, and having the abortion before, like when you're about to give birth, like really late in the pregnancy, you'll still have the same like psychiatric effects. So it's not really necessary. Before I was Catholic, I was pro-choice, but abortion always bothered me. However, pro-life people who pick and choose still upset me. Yeah, it's horrible for the movement, like so horrible for the movement. And I think that a lot of Democrats, because like half of Catholics are actually registered Democrats and consistently vote Democrats. And one of the reasons people do that is because the Republican Party, they're like, don't have abortions, but we're against healthcare, we're against the environment, we don't care about orphans. And so when you have this choice between making something illegal that could just create a black market, or taking care of children when they're born. And so I think it's a really hard decision, and I wish that there was a party that was like Catholic and that was actually pro-life all the way. The Catholic Church has been pro-capital punishment in the past. I think that the reason that has changed is because the modern prison system didn't exist for most of humanity. Starting in like the 1800s, the new like prison system where we have like a ton of people in jail permanently, that's a new thing that didn't exist for most of human history. So the way that we do capital punishment is like a new thing. Does that make sense? The way I agree with the Catholic Church and Taylor Marshall on capital punishment. Is he orthodox on it? Are pro-lifers pro-forced birth? If you have a problem with abortion, though, maybe one of the solutions is better sex ed and availability of preventative measures. That's something else that a lot of people like hate Catholics for, because they're against birth control. And so then people who are not Catholic are like, isn't the best way to prevent abortion giving people birth control and sex ed classes? So that's something that I'm still very like on the fence about. Like, I want my friends who have casual sex to use birth control. Like, maybe the first thing that I would want is for them to understand like the true, like, deeper meaning of sex. But if they're going to have sex, I honestly would rather them use birth control. And some of the forms of IUDs do give abortions to the zygote, but a lot of forms of birth control don't. And so that's something that I'm really like on the fence about. Does that make sense? Like, genuinely, people are going to have sex, I'd rather them use birth control than have an abortion. But Democrats push pro-life candidates out of the party, and Republicans aren't good representation of the fullness of the pro-life movement. Yeah, that's something I've actually been seeing a lot lately, and trying to think about how to phrase this. So I'm a registered Democrat, and I've been liberal my entire life. And most of the things I agree with the most with Democrats are environmental regulations, general regulations, like I want businesses to get benefits and healthcare to people, just stuff like that. So healthcare, economy, environment, having less of a imperialistic like military thing. So I want our military to be more chill. So these are reasons why I'm Democrat. But then you have to be pro-choice to be Democrat. And so I think it's like there should be more flexibility within the party. Like, we shouldn't be forced to like fit into this box of everything that the party believes. And when I was younger, like in high school, and I was, learning more about the government and like volunteering to do like canvassing for the Obama campaigns. I don't know how to talk right now. When I was like getting involved in politics, like on the debate team and stuff, I felt pressured to perfectly fit within the Democratic Party. So that's why I felt like I had to be pro-gay marriage and pro-abortion, because I had to be like Democrat. And I think a lot of Republicans might have that tendency too, where they feel like because I agree with the party on these things, I have to agree with them on everything. And I think that if enough people were honest about not fitting into the party all the way, then we wouldn't have situations like what's going on in New York. But it's really weird to me how a lot of the stuff that's been happening recently with just more of like the super left stuff happening, I feel like doesn't represent a majority of Democrats. Like, it doesn't represent me, it doesn't represent my family. So it probably doesn't represent most like Democrats who are like our parents' generation, baby boomers. So it's weird to me that like my generation, like college students that are becoming super hyper liberal, are like changing the party. Like, I don't understand. Did other people stop voting? It's just so weird to me how certain people can be in control. John Fisher, hi, thanks for helping me become Catholic. I get what you're saying about if they're going to be having casual sex, you'd prefer they use birth control. But when a society allows contraceptives as a primary form of birth control, then abortion inevitably becomes the secondary form of birth control. Yeah, I agree with that. That's what Patrick Coffin says in his book. You guys should go get Patrick Coffin's book. He talks about, it's called Sex en Natural. That's Patrick Coffin's book. He talks about abortion, birth control. So it really explains what you're saying there. Identity politics is a very scary thing. Yeah, and it happened like all at once within the past few years, like all of this terminology that never existed. And I really have like tons of empathy for people who are trans with gender dysphoria. Like I get a lot of messages from people dealing with that, and like I love those people so much. And I love that gender dysphoria is a real thing, that the American Psychiatric Association and Psychological Association are like labeling, diagnosing that. I think that's amazing. But then I think that the topic of gender dysphoria is getting entangled and tied with so many other things that aren't necessarily related to it. And then I think that that pushes away more conservative people from having empathy for people who are trans and believing them. So that's why I think is really weird that's happening. I always find it ironic when people say our military is too big, since I understand the US spends twice as much on welfare and social services as on the military. Completely wrong. Completely wrong. I should get a US spending. The thing we spend a lot of money on is our healthcare system, just because people eat so unhealthy. Why don't we say US spending on 2017? If we like cut our military budget like in a tenth, we could use all of that money to like double our education. Let's see. Okay, the federal budget. Defense, 590 billion. Social Security, 900 billion. Okay, so Social Security, that kind of makes sense. Medicare, 590 billion. So defense and Medicare are the same. Medicaid, 375. Maybe I'm wrong on this, which is really spending on many. What website? CBO, federal budget, and I should like make a whole video. Revenues, individual income tax. Okay, I stand proven wrong. I think that not defense, because I remember seeing graphs like in college and stuff that showed all the spending current US federal. I just want to see a graph of all. I think the issue that I have is the amount spent on like education and stuff, because that's really, really low compared to the military. So like it makes sense to me that a lot of our budget is Social Security and Medicare. Like that's a huge part of our budget, which makes sense because like a significant part of our population is retired, and so obviously a ton of the money is going to that. But when we look at like education and Medicare, it's not like, it's like military, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, education. It's like that. People refusing to be compassionate to post-abortive mothers is also harming the movement. Yeah, because if you see stats, 1 in 4 women, 1 in 3 I've even seen, have had an abortion. So when having these conversations, I feel like we have to be really gentle and non-judgmental, because a lot of people listening have probably had an abortion. But my experience being within Catholic circles and like at mass, when praying about this, it's usually like zero judgmental. So I know that some people come across as judgmental, but within like the actual like official Catholic like mass and stuff, I feel like it's not judgmental. I'm so glad you did the Taylor Marshall interview. Can you do a video on philosophy sometime this spring? I love philosophy. Yeah, I have so many video scripts that are written that I haven't filmed just because I constantly have video ideas. So I should definitely try to focus on more philosophy. I want to make a whole video on relativism. I want to make a whole video, like another video on logical fallacies, because I love like telling people when they're using a logical fallacy. What are your thoughts on disability and abortion? I myself have a severe physical disability, and it is astonishing the amount of parents with my disability who are recommended abortion. I think that's one of the most horrific things, where we're aborting people who have disabilities. I don't understand how people in like Europe, the US, like don't see that as like a huge red flag and terrifying thing. Because in the ancient world, this is what I always go back to, because the US is exactly like the Roman Empire, and we're going to end like how they do. So they would take their infants, like specifically like disabled babies were one of the people who were affected by it the most. They would like take disabled babies and leave them on a cliff and then like walk away and let them die. And the Christians would go rescue those babies. So the fact that we're like going back to pagan ethics is very, very terrifying. Defense funding is the highest. Yeah. Once this video is live, I'm going to link below a stat. So Social Security is really, really high, and Medicare is really, really high. So the amount of money we're spending on retired people is really high, but the amount we're spending on Medicaid of children or people who are of really low economic status and our education is like way, way lower. Catholics are extremely supportive of I lost it. What's your opinion on how The Handmaid's Tale tries to malign pro-life views? One of my best friends, Nicole, watches it, and we've had a few conversations like last year, but I don't really remember the conversation. Like, I remember things she says, but not like all of her commentary on a movie. I'm so confused. Aren't you complicit in murder when your country provides weapons used to bomb schools in Yemen? That's what I'm talking about with how a lot of people who are pro-life, meaning they're pro-fetus, are not actually pro-life. Because, like, my views, I'm really against a lot of the military stuff. Like, Obama, I disagreed with him massively on foreign policy. Like, he was so conservative with a lot of the military, like the targeted killings and everything was evil, awful. Even though I voted for Obama, I disagreed with a lot of the things he did. And I think that a lot of people just do not research and are not aware of everything our military does. But I definitely want to cut our military spending and stop intervening in every country. Why do you think some people disagree with the Trinity? I never understood why they would not accept it as truth. I didn't really believe in the Trinity because it's not in the Bible. I think that's the easiest answer. It's just not in the Bible. Like, defining the Trinity, the term Trinity is something that Catholicism, that the actual church created. So I personally didn't understand how Jesus could be the Son of God and fully God. I didn't think that he could be fully God and fully human. So I was an Arian. And I remember, like, when I was in high school, I remember, like, really being perplexed, like, is Jesus fully God or is he not? And I remember, like, reading through my Bible, like, reading through, like, New Testament and Gospels and, like, writing notes of different verses that supported each position because I genuinely didn't know if Jesus was fully God or not. I love that you talked on Pins with Aquinas podcast. Yeah, I'm so grateful that all these like Catholic shows are like wanting to know me and talk to me. It makes me feel super welcomed into their church. Do you know what eugenics is? It goes with what you're saying. Yeah, like a lot of like Nazi type propaganda is what's happening with wanting to abort disabled humans. It's literally eugenics. Obama was totally complicit in the Gaza massacre. I don't agree with that. I think being president is like the most awful job. I don't know why anyone would want to be president. Like, I mean, I really respect people who do, but it's just so stressful. And I mean, you see stuff with the military all the time where it's like each decision is awful and like you feel like you have to kill certain people to help certain people. So it's constantly awful decisions. So I think that, like, from our outside perspective, we can say, wow, like, the president was horrible, like, that person was horrible, they shouldn't have done that. But it's like, when you're, like, within the room of everyone in the military and seeing everything that's happening, it's horrible. Like, both decisions are awful. You should start watching The Good Place again. It's getting better than it was. Okay, the new season was so freaking bad. Like, you should do a video on all the major heresies. I actually have. It's called 20 Heresies I Used to Believe. And it goes into like a lot of the major heresies. Because like I personally like didn't understand anything about theology. Can you be pacifist and a Catholic? I don't know, guys. Can you be pacifist? I think you can. I mean, Augustine created just war theory. So it's really Catholic to have like ideology within war to be ethical. But what are you eating? Oh, if you're new here, I'm eating rice and kale and fake meat beefless tips from Gardein. What are your thoughts on the principle of double effect? I actually learned about this in my ethics class. There's this guy in my ethics class who was like super Catholic. Like he converted into Catholicism, but like before that he was super Catholic. Just like him as a person. But he brought that up, and so double effect is basically like if you do one action and that action is moral, but then that leads to a horrible action, you're not complicit in it. So, for example, if you use birth control because you have like whatever, what is that thing called? Like whenever like your ovaries grow things that can kill you, that thing, or you have like really heavy, awful periods that like make you really sick, you're allowed to use birth control if you have that in Catholicism. But that will lead to birth control preventing pregnancy, but that's okay because of the principle of double effects. So that's one basic. Jesus was friends with Roman soldiers. Jesus was friends with Judas as well. Like, I don't understand how that's an argument. Lizzie, what are your thoughts on the radical traditional side of Catholicism, which says stuff like women have to wear dresses, not pants? I came across them on Twitter recently and was surprised. You know what else is on Twitter? Flat earther Catholics. Everything's on Twitter. Something I want to say though, I want your guys' genuine thoughts. So I wear a beanie to mass. Like I have the past 2 times, like today on Friday when I went to mass, I had like a beanie because it was really cold outside, and then I kept it on. And wait, I want to see if the beanie's here so I can show you guys. It's like so freaking cute, the beanie I was wearing. Wait, I don't know if I can't find it. Okay, but I was like wearing a beanie. And the reason I didn't take it off is because women like wear veils. Like in the early church, women were supposed to veil and men were supposed to not. And it was this like because of that's like the weirdest passage. It's like women should be veiled because of the angels in First Corinthians. But yeah, so I feel like today men have to take off their hats because of that Bible passage. And so women were allowed to veil. So I feel like veils don't exist in our culture very much, but beanies do. So am I allowed to wear a beanie at mass? Like, does that offend people who are there? When I was at mass on like Friday, so it was like a daily mass, there was a woman who was there who also had on a beanie, and she was like, looked like she was in her 70s or 80s. So I was like, wow, this lifelong Catholic is wearing a beanie. I'm allowed to wear a beanie. So women should be veiled and covered in burlap sack. Don't ever go to California. Actually, don't go anywhere outside of your house. You'll die. Do you like to eat yogurt? No, it's not vegan. Dairy makes you fat. Because think about it. Baby cows drink milk because baby cows are like this small and they're becoming like huge cows. So it'd be like if you were drinking like baby's milk. Like if you had like a friend who was pregnant who just had a baby and she was pumping her milk and you were drinking it. Like that'd be super weird. So it's even more weird to drink the milk of another species. Like that's bizarre. And it literally will make you go get really fat because like cows get really big really fast. So that's why I don't like dairy. Also, like having a higher dairy intake increases your chance of getting osteoporosis. So get your calcium from other things. I don't think wearing a beanie is bad, but I like to dress up and look nice for the Lord. It's not hard, but it's out of respect. I thought I looked really nice with my beanie though. Like I was wearing a pretty like dressed up outfit. Take your hat off at least at the consecration. Even the bishop does that. Oh, interesting. I'm curious, will you send your kids to Catholic school or homeschool? Public school, public school. I haven't talked about this with my boyfriend. Probably should. I feel like we agree on it. No judgment. I'm really just curious. The best homily I ever heard was at this Latin mass church in California that I go to. And he was saying, like, with marriage, he's like, marriage is not that complicated. Like, if you both agree on your faith and you both agree on having kids and agree on how to educate your kids and how to raise them in the church, then get married. That was basically what he said. And obviously, like, try to find someone you're compatible with. But yeah, but that was one of his main points, like agreeing on how you're educating your children. You're pretty. Thank you. I'm not wearing any lashes today. I don't have any mascara on. Are you guys happy? Some people get so mad when I have like long lashes. The dresses they make girls wear at Catholic school are pretty short, but that's very relative to culture. You should wear a MAGA hat to mass. If I was at mass and someone was wearing a Make America Great Again hat, I don't even know what I would do. I would like go over and like take it off of them. The skirts they wear at Catholic school are a lot of the contraception deception is, whoa, I just lost everything. Where is it? Oh, the contraception deception is Patrick Coffin's updated version of Sex on Natural. I don't think so though, because I like know Patrick Coffin and he personally gave me his book like a few months ago. So maybe he still has them in print or something. Do you ever see women veil at the Novus Ordo Mass? Yeah, I actually do. Maybe 90% of fat from milk is extracted. Are you saying like when you eat low-fat milk? Well then like don't eat milk. If you're not even getting your fat from milk, just like eat something else. I get calcium from like tons of vegetables, and then also if you're like really concerned about getting calcium, just drink almond milk or coconut milk. Any vegan milk has calcium. A lot of women wear hats as a substitute for veils. Women should wear nice dresses and veils. I really like wearing dresses, but I haven't lately because it's so cold outside that I have to wear pants. Liz, have you ever cut class out of straight up boredom? I've been doing that lately. No, I was such a good student growing up. I never skipped class ever. Like ever. One time in high school, this guy I really liked, who we had like a flirtationship going for like a year and a half, he was like wanting to skip class one time and he's like, Liz, like come skip class with me. And I was so tempted to do it. But I said no, because I'm a good student. Lizzie, come to Mexico. Oh, hi. I see your comments on so many of my videos lately. I was in Mexico last year. I went to Cabo. But I super want to go again. I veil, but not always. Are you still Catholic? Are you talking to me or someone else? Like, no. Like, why would I not be Catholic anymore? I'm pretty sure the bishop removing his hat has to do with being in persona Christi while doing the consecration and then acting as himself when not. Interesting. You're single. No, I have a boyfriend. Why is someone put a pretty like explicit comment here? I'm gonna put them in timeout. She's taken Christopher. Peter, how do you eat milk? Guys, I mean like dairy. So do you guys realize when they make like yogurt or any dairy product, they take the milk and they put it into the butter or yogurt, or if you're eating a cookie and it has milk in it, like you're eating the milk. St. Francis eats pizza at Cece's Pizzeria. All schools can be equally damaging. I went to public and Sunday school. You were Catholic but bailed on your faith. I'm Batman. I hate school. I used to be. Oh, hi Greek for gamer. I really like your emoticons. Emojis? Emoticons? Is emoticons a thing? I always used to say that like in high school. Emoticons over emoji. I understand that vegans get plenty of calcium, but I just wanted to clarify. Yeah. So if you get like animal protein, causes cancer. And like not every kind of cancer, like leukemia is genetic, but breast cancer, colon cancer, heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes is caused by eating the standard American diet. If you're eating too much meat, animal protein, dairy, osteoporosis. Do you participate in mass? No, I haven't done like scripture reading or anything, just because I'm like really brand new to the church and I just don't want to like a couple times at like daily mass, I've been the one to like bring up the communion or something, but I read scripture once at like a private mass, but no, I don't really want to yet. Hi Lizzie. Hi Josh. Okay, just wondering, I've never met a full-on pacifist and I don't know my war views. I mostly agree with the just war theory, but I'm not sure. Augustine is amazing. I super hate war as well. I used to be a pacifist until like my junior year in college, the same class that the Catholic professor was like, sola scriptura, it doesn't make sense because you need the tradition for the Bible. So the same class that I stopped believing in sola scriptura and we had to read C.C. Pecknold, we watched a movie and it was about like Jesuits in Canada. And there was a scene in the movie where there was like some priest who was with the children and there were like people coming in to kill them with like guns or something. And the priest takes the children and they like walk into a place where like everyone can shoot them. And he's just standing there and like praying and letting them shoot the children. And that moment during the movie, I stopped being a pacifist. Because I was like, you cannot just stand with children and let yourselves be murdered. So that's why I'm not a pacifist anymore, because of this Jesuit movie. Vegan chocolate milk, if you guys just got here. If there's a wall, you're not going to Mexico. So funny. Have you ever cursed? I don't curse that much. I never cursed at all growing up. I don't want to like make you guys feel like I'm a bad person. So my first time ever saying the F word was my best friend Kyle. This was in 2017. So I was like 22. But there's this song he really liked by I totally forget what the song is. Like Humble by I think Kendrick Lamar. Yeah. So don't go look up the song. It's kind of explicit, but like my best friend was explaining to me the meaning of the song, and it's actually not sexist. It's like a really, really deep song about like artistry and inspiration and music. And so my best friend loved the song so much that I, for the first time ever, I was singing along and said a curse word. And a lot of my friends in college cursed. So I kind of got like desensitized. So sometimes I do, but people are always shocked if I curse and people are like, what? But cursing is in the Bible. Like Paul curses in the prophets in the Old Testament. They use super like sexually explicit language. So like if Paul curses, we can all curse. But I don't like curse people out. And that's something that I want to make a really big distinction with cursing. And I'm going to make a whole video on this. But if you're like, ta-ta, like you're yelling a curse at someone, like that's you're actually cursing them. But if you're just like saying a curse word casually, like if my children curse and they're just like casually saying a word, like I don't think I'll ever care. But I'll care if they're angry at someone. Jesus ate meat. Okay, so the reason I'm a vegan, and like I made a whole video on being vegan. If you YouTube search like Lizzie vegan, I talked about why I'm vegan, and it's because of the modern factory farm system where animals are tortured, injected with hormones and steroids and antibiotics, fed grain when they're supposed to be eating grass. That's what I'm against. And I'm against how the standard American diet, where like for all of human history, no one has consumed this much meat and dairy and eggs than the standard American diet. And because of that, everyone is getting heart disease, stroke, breast cancer, colon cancer, type 2 diabetes. I heard one movie I watched called Forks Over Knives, which they interviewed like a ton of doctors and showed so many studies like from so many different countries and everything, and they basically concluded that 75 to 80% of our healthcare budget could be cut away if people would just eat more plant-based. I'm not saying be completely vegan, I'm just saying like eat like not your whole meal meat. So I don't want you guys to die young. And the environment. Veganism is like horrible for the environment. Like the entire state of California is the amount of rainforest cut down so that we can grow more food just for the animals to eat. And like all the water and everything. You should be careful with your mouth. Cursing affects your brain, so don't take it too lightly. Yeah, I don't curse very often, but some people I know do. LOL. Lot slept with his daughters after God blasted Sodom. I don't believe in extreme sola scriptura either. You don't get to be Catholic to get that. You just have to know the Bible and not be bound by tradition. What do you mean by you don't? Are you like Protestant? Wait. I'm vegetarian, but I couldn't be vegan. It's impossible. You are still responsible for insects dying. Obviously, you can't be fully vegan. Like vaccinations have animal products in them. Like if you eat sugar, it's like they use like animal bones to filter the sugar, you know what I mean? Like no one's going to be fully vegan. But the reason that I don't eat eggs, dairy and milk is because of all the reasons I shared, where it causes cancer and heart disease and stroke and osteoporosis, MS, so many diseases. So it's just like, why are you gonna die young? Like that's ridiculous. And then also all the animals, like the cows, are like tortured. Like if you watched footage, like I really recommend this movie Cowspiracy and Food Inc. And it shows like inside the warehouses of where the animals and the cows are kept, and it's like torturous. Like anyone would not be okay with that. Like that's my problem. I don't have a problem with people like eating meat in small quantities if like you know the meat, the animal, and they're like in the grass and the sun and they're like not injected with hormones and steroids and antibiotics. Like I don't have a problem with people eating meat naturally. It's just like when animals are tortured and then they're filled with so many things that make us sick, and then 90% of our diet is meat and dairy, then of course we're going to be unhealthy and get sick and destroy the environment. So that's my like why I'm vegan. And you don't have to be fully vegan. Like a lot of people in my life who I like show them how I eat, they're like, oh, okay, like I'll start drinking almond milk instead of regular milk, or like I'll use Smart Balance vegan butter, or I'll start only having one meal with meat. Like that's my thing. Like just become more vegan. Don't become 100% vegan. Like most people I know in my life like could never and will never do that. But if you just start eating a bit more healthy, then you're going to already like save animals, save the environment. So don't become fully vegan if you can't. Like just do your best to stop eating as much meat and dairy. Any advice? I'm having trouble being motivated to do work at school, and I think it's because I'm going to mass less. I used to go every Sunday, but now I miss more than I care to attend. So I think that if you're having a problem like being at church or like getting to church, then talk to your priest and find someone who can like drive you to church, or like if that's your problem with making mass. But I think that should be like a priority. of going to mass like every week or multiple times a week. And if you literally can't get there, like I'm sure that someone at your church who's retired would love to pick you up and get to know you and bring you to mass. I don't like cursing. My Protestant tendencies when it comes to that won't go away. I still get shocked sometimes when I'm like at my Bible study group and people curse. I'm like, even like the D word, which is so common, like I still like shudder sometimes. Vodka, there's some Russian. Where are my Russian brothers at? They have discovered that teeth flossing also helps prevent heart disease. A lot of things help prevent heart disease. But when there are like entire countries that do not have heart disease, that have like 0.00001% of heart disease because they do not consume dairy and only consume a tiny part of meat. When these cultures literally don't have heart disease, I don't think flossing our teeth is the biggest problem. There are many factors to those things. Is Christ boss? You should come to Brookdale Christian Church in New Jersey. I was actually there recently. Is New Jersey next to Connecticut? I used to be so good at geography, but ever since I moved to California, I like forgot about the rest of the country. French fries are a common side. The carb-filled foods could be replaced by green veggies, but still have carbs properly. I eat French fries. I had French fries like today. Potatoes are really healthy. I recommend making your own fries though, because the skin of the potato is the most healthy part. So like, don't get the little yellow potatoes, but like russet potatoes or sweet potatoes are really, really healthy. They have so many amazing nutrients. So potatoes are actually a root vegetable. So as long as you're like making your own potatoes or like making baked potatoes, mashed potatoes, fries, I make my own fries. I just cook them in the oven. Then they're really, really healthy. Can you be more specific? What is a vegan? I don't know what it is. So it is not eating animal products. So not eating meat, dairy, eggs, fish. Fish are meat as well. So you just like don't eat animals. And then there's a lot of vegans on the internet who are like super extreme and legalistic. So you also shouldn't use animal products. So like when I buy makeup, I don't buy makeup that's tested on animals or that has animal products in it. And like I don't want a leather couch and I won't buy products that are like fur. You know what I mean? So like I'm not going to use or buy something that like an animal had to die for. Is this live now? Yeah, we're live. Hello. You can watch the whole thing later. I have to go soon. Have you seen What the Health? No, but one of my favorite YouTubers, Unnatural Vegan, she reviewed it and she had a lot of issues with it. So I don't know if it's a good movie. I have MS. It sucks. Yeah, and that's one of the things that like doesn't exist in places that eat like don't eat as much meat and don't eat dairy or eggs. Like it literally doesn't exist. So I don't know if eating plant-based could reverse that. I know that eating more vegan can reverse type 2 diabetes and heart disease. So I don't know if it could reverse MS, but maybe. I mean, I think that having like an alkaline over acidic body is like always good. Do you like foreign language movies? Ever wanted to learn another language? I don't know. I want to learn Hebrew. My boyfriend's going to teach me Hebrew eventually when we're not long distance. I actually bought recently like a whiteboard at the store so that like I'm gonna see him in like what's today, Sunday, in like 6 days. So he might be watching this. But yeah, so I bought a whiteboard so that he can teach me Hebrew. If you don't consume salt, I'm pretty sure you could drown yourself. I eat salt. Like I put salt on things that I cook with, but like definitely cut down on like processed food and stuff. Alcohol is also a major contributor to heart disease, so is smoking cigarettes and marijuana. Yeah, so like a lot of things cause heart disease, but like it's not just what you're eating. Like obviously if you're smoking, that's gonna like make you get lung cancer, but if you start eating healthy, you could like reverse the lung cancer. I live in Boynton Beach. Where in Florida did you live? Do you miss it? I'm not gonna say where I live, but I'm not really friends with anyone from Florida, so, like, I loved my high school experience, but I don't, like, talk to any of those people, so I miss my high school, but as for, like, Florida, I don't really like Florida, like, I don't hate Florida, like, I love my family that's there, but I just don't like I like Miami, but where I live in Florida, it's, like, super pretentious and, like, people are full of themselves and bougie and yeah. You should interview Michael Jones. Yeah? Okay, I'll write that down. To interview Michael Jones. Also, guys, I have to go to bed soon because I'm staying at my friend's place and she wakes up at like 5 a.m. for work. So, what do you eat now? So, you don't eat ice cream? There's vegan ice cream. So, like, if you go to the store, like, where the ice cream is, there'll be like a vegan section. And there's a lot of options. There's like, you know, those like vanilla bars with chocolate around them? They have those. They have like so many flavors of ice cream. So, yeah, it's really easy to be vegan in like 2019. Like it's so easy. They have vegan milk, vegan yogurt, vegan butter, vegan cheese, vegan, every type of vegan meat. They have fake meat, ice cream, like everything. It's so easy to be vegan. Like no excuses to not be vegan. I just put the flossing comment in case anyone hasn't heard. The bad diet you describe both cause inflammation. Okay, no. Inflammation is caused by an acidic diet versus alkaline. Everything that is in an acidic diet, meat, dairy, and eggs are acidic. So being vegan is making an alkaline diet. Like that's so important to me, acidic versus alkaline. And so inflammation is caused by acidic. So if you don't have an acidic body, you're not going to grow things like cancer. You guys should watch a movie called Forks Over Knives if you want to see like all the studies that have convinced me. Have you ever tried vegan donuts? Yeah, I've had. Congratulations on your new puppy or dog. I don't like dogs that much, guys. Like, I might get a cat in the future. I had a cat growing up. Whole Foods thoughts? Like the store or like eating Whole Foods? Why are people being so sexual? Like, I've never seen this amount of sexual before. Like, anyways, like, when you guys say stuff like that, I block you, like, eternally from my channel comments, so. An interview between Lizzie and Scott Hahn or Marcus and Grady. I'm gonna write these names down. If you want me to have anyone on my channel, let me know. You lived in Naples, didn't you? I feel like if you go, never mind. I was gonna say, if you eat only plants, you will collapse in strong winds. I'm with you. Veganism is annoying. I just want you guys to not get cancer. Like, it's amazing how the standard American diet, like, the reason our healthcare cost is more than anywhere in the world is diet related. Don't like dogs? What the heck? So the reason I don't like dogs is because of like consent. So with physical things, you can't just like touch someone or like hug someone or like lick someone. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. And so dogs don't understand consent. And I'll go over to someone's house and they'll be like jumping on me and licking me and like all over me. And I just don't feel comfortable with like people not understanding consent. And so like dogs don't and cats do. And that's what I like about cats. Like they don't like go like mess with strangers. Like I could share a lot of horror stories with dogs, but that's my main thing. Like dogs that like don't touch me all the time when I don't know them, I have less of a problem with. I can't wait until she looks up E. Michael Jones. But yeah, I love animals. Have you seen my Pop-Tart? Thanks. Eat zucchini? I hate zucchini. Someone please block Ron. Sorry, I don't. It was my last Pop-Tart. One of my best friends like loves Pop-Tarts. My friend Kyle, who I was talking about. You don't like dogs? Are you a communist? I used to identify as a communist like years ago. My dog isn't like that. Yeah, so I've actually met several dogs recently that I like actually like one of my best friends. One of my best friends, Rose, got a dog. And I really like her. Like, her name is Kara, and she doesn't like get on you. And when I was in college, like my Bible study group, we all had Bible study groups called house groups that met in Professor Holmes. And there was a dog in our group that I loved. And everyone said that the dog was like a cat. So interview E. Michael Jones. I wrote it down, guys. I'll look him up. In Japan, 80% of people's diet consists of alkaline foods, while they consume 20% of acidic foods. Yes. So in Japan, they have way lower levels of all these diseases. So, I mean, if you're gonna eat meat, I recommend fish because it has more like omega-3, which most of your diet should be omega-3 fats over omega-6. So unsaturated fats over saturated fats, which vegan foods have, but if you're eating like meat and eggs, it only has saturated fat and cholesterol. You don't need to eat cholesterol ever. Our body makes all the cholesterol that we need. So if you have high cholesterol, just stop eating foods with cholesterol. It's really simple. Yeah, so Mediterranean diets are more healthy, but honestly, fish have so much mercury. Like the way we like fish factory farms are really unhealthy too. So ha ha ha, consent from dogs. All they want to do is love you and be friendly. Don't be too negative. Like that, imagine this as like a person. Imagine if you're like dating a guy or like, okay, let's not go there. Imagine like you become friends with someone and you're like, hi, like, how are you? Oh my gosh, can I touch your hair? Like, can we cuddle? Like someone you just meet. It's weird. Like, you need to see if everyone's chill with that. What was the movie you recommended to watch? It's called Forks Over Knives. It's on Netflix. And also Food Inc. and Cowspiracy. So Forks Over Knives focuses mostly on the health aspect and like the environment. Food Inc. talks about injecting animals with steroids, antibiotics, all of that, like how unhealthy the meat is, and it talks about the torture in the factory farm system as well. And then Cowspiracy is like animal rights, not animal rights, but like animal torture and like environment. So you should watch all of them though. Forks Over Knives, Food Inc., Cowspiracy. Dogs are full of love. You go, gal, Lizzie. Swing out, sister. Lizzie, bring. I don't understand you. Did I miss you talking about the law that was passed in New York? Yeah. So this is going to be uploaded as like a video, so you can watch that part if you want to. Dogs are annoying, especially when they bark. I love cats. They're so quiet and calm. Yeah. I don't like the noise. It was my favorite strawberry popper. The Forks Over Knives. Yeah. I subscribe to your channel. Hi, Thomas. WTH, Lizzie, communists are the worst. I have a very like positive, like pure view of humanity. So my idea is like if everyone was like me, we would have like an amazing society if it was communist. Because I have like a really strong work ethic and I love sharing and I'm really nice. So that sounds very egotistical. Like I am very egotistical, but like genuinely, if we had a communist society and people had my level of ethics, it would work great. But I watched you when I first became a Christian years ago, and now I'm watching you in RCIA becoming Catholic. You're Catholic. Huskies are very intelligent dogs, so they will listen and know how to behave. People are like freaking out that I said communism. Eating fish isn't vegan. I know. I was just saying, like, I said like 10 minutes ago that not everyone is going to be vegan. Like, most of my friends will never be fully vegan. But like when it comes to people not dying young of heart disease and cancer, if you're gonna eat meat, eat fish. That's all I'm saying. But obviously, like, don't eat fish because they have so much mercury in them. I love your honesty and really liked your episode on confession. Thank you. So much time went into that. Cats are the only domestic animal not mentioned in the Bible. Dogs did not exist in Bible times, right? Like, I know they talk about dogs, but didn't we like breed dogs recently? Exactly that. Most people abuse the system or don't contribute. Yeah. So people are horrible, I guess. You should listen to Empires of the Sun. Okay, I'll open this YouTube video and a new link and I'll listen when I get off of here. Communist China uses people like things, slave labor. Communism in Romania? Yeah. So like my whole thing was that like at the beginning of the church in Acts, it was communist because everyone was sharing their possessions with each other. Technically, the Catholic Church is communist, totalitarian. Dogs have existed for thousands of years, but didn't we breed them from wolves like recently? Because like a lot of the super annoying dogs I feel like didn't exist in the ancient world. But I know that cats have. Like the breed of cats that exists now existed in like ancient Egypt. We haven't breeded them. They're like super pure. Juan is correct. Love, love, love. I love you too, Greek for grammar. How long until you start a daily rosary, Lizzie? I don't know. Good night, Lizzie. Get back soon. Communism is responsible for hundreds of millions of deaths. Guys, there's different types of communism. That'd be like saying religion is responsible for hundreds of millions of deaths. Like, everyone is violent and evil. Who is your favorite saint so far? Probably it'd be probably Saint Paul from the Bible. And David as well. I connect to them the most growing up. Hi, Wancho. Sorry to mispronounce your name. Wancho Nunez. Hey, Lizzie. I love fish. Hi, Lizzie. Hi, Natasha. I have no idea what happened to Spain during the 20th century. Not quite hundreds of millions, but over 100 million for sure. Abortion is murder. I'm going to unsubscribe to you. Thomas, what did I say? Yay for kale. Thomas, relax. What did Thomas say, guys? Communism is anti-religious, but Jesus, like the early church, was communist. There's different types of communists. What do you think about Cardinal Vigano's accusations against Pope Francis? I talked about this in a video like a long time ago. I personally, as an American, I have a very confrontational personality. I'm very direct and just like, yeah, very combative with how I address things. So the way Pope Francis wasn't like that really bothered me, but he's not American and the way I communicate isn't necessarily best. So I was super annoyed at first and thought he was cowardly, but I have understood now like that my culture and my communication style isn't necessarily like the best. Does that make sense? Dogs are superior to cats. No. What? Wait, so you're a communist? No, guys. I did not say I was a communist. I said that in high school I identified as a communist. That's it. Calm yourselves, people. I'm gonna go soon at like 9:15. I used to work for a major pro-life group. That's so cool. What group? Do you ever struggle with prayer, like not wanting to or being scared? No, because I've prayed like my whole life since I was a little girl. I always write out prayers. So if you don't know how to pray, I recommend just like journaling and being like, dear God, and writing out like your thoughts about him and prayer requests and how you feel, your heart. Religion only causes 8% of all the wars in history. Most of them from Islam. Guys, like, can we not? I had to read Hopeless something. I had to read Plato at Columbia University, but he kind of left me cold. Can you tell me what you appreciate about him? Read The Republic. Like, if you've read The Republic, you don't think he's cold. And I also love the sorry guys, it's really late and I'm trying to think. The Apology. The Apology, the one where Socrates is about to die, is really good. I think you prefer communalism. It's more accurate for what you're describing. Yeah, everything comes down to defining terms. Having a debate, a kind of debate with Taylor Marshall and Tim on communism. We love you and are praying for you. I hated David growing up. Weird. I love him. I love his passion and emotion. Like, what I didn't like is he would get like really angry and be like, kill them, like towards God, like towards his enemies. And I was like, I can't relate to being that angry like ever in my life. But a lot of his emotions, like I felt so understood reading the Psalms and it taught me how to pray. Okay, I'm gonna go soon, guys. I identify as Lizzie Answers. Please subscribe to me. What do you think about the people who think St. Paul promotes misogyny? They do not understand the culture. Did you know dogs can be vegan? Mine is. I don't recommend making your pet vegan. Like, certain animals can be vegan, but don't like assume your pet can be vegan because you're a vegan. Like, please research because some pets like are objectively carnivores. I used to make YouTube videos for Students for Life. Let's see what happens when Lizzie gets triggered. I'm like a really calm person. I don't think you guys understand. Like, I have strong emotions, but like the way my personality works is so like this is like the inner part of my soul and it's really really peaceful and I have a shield blocking myself from not feeling peaceful. So it's really rare for something to like interrupt my peace because I feel so encompassed and protected by God all the time. And anytime something makes me feel stressed, it's like extreme. If I ever feel stressed, the church has repeatedly denounced communism. Guys, I'm sorry. I what I'm talking about is a different thing that what you're talking about. Like we should have defined terms from the beginning. What? Islam is bad, just plain bad ideas. Nothing in Sharia law is good for anyone. Again, definitions. There's different definitions of that. He's right though. According to the Encyclopedia of War, only 7% of wars are because of religion. And when you take away Islam, it's only 2%. That's interesting because a lot of people, like the myth of religious violence or whatever, is a thing where violence is violence and people use religion as the reason. But okay, I'm going to read all of your comments and then go. The first dog was a wolf that joined a caveman at the vine. I got to know your YouTube channel because of a video on SM Danny. He's a great priest. Oh, do you believe people who died and came back to life to tell their story? A lot of the like heaven is for real people like ended up like, oh, I made it up. So I'm very wary of believing. Good night, Natasha. Misogyny is a word that makes me laugh. It's not funny to hate women. Jesus ate fish. It is heavily promoted in the Bible. Go back and watch the first like 20 minutes before this. I was talking about how the modern factory farm system, in the way we treat pigs and cows and fish, the way they're treated, the way they're injected with hormones and antibiotics, that's my problem. I don't have a problem like intrinsically with eating fish. The fish Jesus ate was not like did not have heavy metals and mercury in it and was not like living in like a fish farm where the fish are like packed against each other and not able to swim. Just wow. Didn't mean to hit the table, guys. Lizzie, can I get a birthday shout out? My birthday was Friday. Happy birthday. How old are you? Most wars, economic or cultural? Political. Do you believe in life after death? Yes, I believe in the resurrection of the dead and the life of the world to come. Okay, Greek for grammar, your emojis are like life right now. Moderate Muslims are great people, but people who follow the strict law of Muhammad are not people I want living near me. Lizzie, if you could have asked Jesus one question only, what would it be? I would ask him, like, what was your life like from the time you were like 12 until you started your ministry when you were 30? Like, day to day, what was your life like? What were some monumental moments? How do you celebrate your birthday? What was Mary like as a mom? Which cousin were you the closest to? Like, I just want to know, like, what his life was like. Christ was not a communist or capitalist. Wow, I really made people angry with that. She's cute. Thank you. I totally agree with you about the modern disgusting way of killing animals. Yeah. And it's not just the way we kill animals, but it's that they're injected with so many antibiotics and steroids and hormones, and they're fed like grain. Like, cows are fed grain instead of grass. So yeah, it's like a big health thing. Dogs cannot be vegan. That's what I was saying, like, that to be careful with like feeding your dog vegan food, but there's a lot of different types of dogs. So like, I don't know. When is your birthday? July 22nd. Guess what, guys? Guess how old I'm gonna be. Like, guess. I'm so sad. I almost laughed to death when you hit the table. Sawadee ka, sawadee my ka. Do you believe in eternal conscious torment? No. 26, 25, 21. Guys, guess how old I am? Kapkun, kapkun ka. 23. I'm 24 right now, and I'm gonna be 25. I'm so sad. And the saddest thing is I only have like 10 more years to have kids. Like, that's terrible. Like, I have to have kids like soon. You're 24, gonna be 25. How often do you make live stream? I just hit the bell. Once a month, but I'm starting to do like twice a month. 40. I was right. I'm 20 right now. You're so pretty. I hope I stay pretty. I don't want to get older. I'm so sad. I want to be 21 forever. My son Dylan's birthday is July 22nd. Selena Gomez's birthday is July 22nd too. Have you heard of Our Lady of Akita? No. Explain to me how you're going to be the resurrection of all the people that are not died in mortal sin and why the saints are already in heaven. That's like 5 videos. Abraham's wife and Elizabeth were past 40. Guys, I'm not like Elizabeth in the Bible. I'm just a very chill, ordinary person. I don't have this like dramatic role in Christian history. So I'm not going to have a baby at 90 years old. Lizzie, do a live stream on July 22nd called Happy Birthday, Lizzie. Okay, I will. You said your family did DNA tests. Um, Yeah, so my dad did, and he's super white. Like, no Jewish, no Russian, no Asian, no Hispanic. So we were honestly really confused. Like, I want to do my mom's DNA because everyone thought that my family was Asian, because like some part Asian, because my dad's eyes like don't have a they don't have a hooded, like, they're not hooded eyes, and like my eyes are really small. My sister's eyes are really small. People just think I look. Don't you guys think I look some type of Asian? And then people think I'm Hispanic even more, but like apparently I'm just really, really white. But I'll do a DNA test and like make a video about it. Don't say happy birthday to anyone too early, it's bad luck. I don't believe in like bad luck. Where are you? I'm visiting one of my best friends in Virginia. Nope, you look Welsh. I'll do a DNA test and tell you guys like exactly what country. No, you look Hispanic. Yeah. If you saw me without makeup, my eyes are like really, I guess you guys know I have small eyes, but Virgin, yeah. Yeah, that's what Virginia was named after. Okay, guys, so oh, I was gonna tell you something really cool about the history of where I am, but then you'll know exactly what city I'm in, so I can't now. I'll tell my friends I see. Look up the name Rocio on how to pronounce it. Rocchio, let's see. That was Empire of the Sun. Rocio, pronounce.
The following pronunciation is brought
Rocio. Rocio. I took Spanish. Beyonce or Rihanna? What do you think about Covington kids? I was really annoyed that like the whole Catholic Church like went behind them. Like it'd be like anytime a Catholic or like an American does anything kind of embarrassing, and then you're like, oh my gosh, totally defend my movement. Like, obviously, don't send these kids death threats, but like, I don't understand why everyone was obsessed with it. I wasn't obsessed with it. I was like, oh, like, there was like this really weird, like, Jews for something. Sorry, that's not what it was. Yeah, I'm not saying like against Judaism, but there was some group and it was like something for Jews that was clearly not created, not connected to Judaism, yelling at the kids. And then there was a guy with the drum who was trying to pray with the drum. And then there were some high school kids who were like chanting, like, who cares? Like, it's a really weird situation, but like, who cares? I don't understand why everyone was talking about it forever. It's because of the media and how they reacted to it, but just because the media is talking about something doesn't mean I need to invest any thoughts into it. So I like didn't care. I watched like the full video and I like looked through and I was like, wow, like this weird religious group is like kind of crazy, but the Covington kids did nothing wrong. Yeah. They're like high school kids. They were just like standing there in a really weird situation. In certain videos, you look Russian or Polish, and in others, you look Northern European, and others, you look British. Rocio means do, like do fall. Defend Covington. Yeah, like it'd be like, yeah, like I don't think we need to defend. And what was really annoying to me too is that like a Catholic school is wearing like such a political hat. Like, why? If you're gonna go in public, don't do that. What is the song you use in the intro with the lay down my eyes stuff? To rely on you. It's called Easy by Sarah Reeves. And everyone always asks me, like, literally, like, every day in comments or social media, like, what song is it? If you guys just Google lyrics of a song, like any song, just Google the lyrics you can hear, and the song will come up. I don't know why people don't know how to do that, but that's why I do. Black Hebrew Israelites. Yeah, the Black Hebrew Israelites group were kind of like chill Southern Baptists. That's what it was. That's what it looked like. The Black Hebrew Israelites. They were like yelling and like super racist. Yeah. Lizzie, good night, my friend. Good night, Patrick. Listen to the whole song after the stream. I love Empire of the Sun. Okay, well, the kids did nothing wrong. They were being unfairly attacked. Yeah, you should care, and they were pro-life. Like, I just don't like, obviously the media shouldn't attack them, but like I don't pay attention to like mainstream media. And like the New York Times article I read about it was like not biased towards them at all. Like the New York Times article I read like made me think like, oh, they're not that bad, but like everyone's crazy in the situation. So weird religious kids, they're Catholic pro-life kids. How is that weird? Favorite Catholic song? I can't think right now. There's this one that we sing at Trevor's church, and it's like super John 6. What is it called? It's like It like is like John 6 lyrics, and I really like it. It's okay to be white. Yeah, it's totally okay to be white. I wasn't saying anything about being white. I was just saying that this group of people wearing Make America Great Again hats on a field trip where they're like, we're in Catholic school. Like, I think that's weird. So, yeah. I agree the Covington kid did nothing wrong. Do you like the Crusader monks? Never heard. Have you been to the Vatican? No, I want to go. I might go to Ireland in a couple months. So if any of you guys live in Ireland, let me know. And I want to meet you guys. The problem was all of the Catholics that denounced them, including their own school and diocese, without knowing the whole story. Oh, okay. See, I don't pay attention to mainstream news at all. Like, when I read the news, I go to, like, the science section and, like, world section of New York Times. I don't like a lot of, like, national drama. It's not worth spending your time on. I watched the video released. It did bother me because I'm Native American. I'm also a Christian. So you thought it was, like, misrepresenting Native American? What did you hate about it the most? Have you changed your view on Victoria's Secret video? I know I already asked, but I'm just hoping you read the comments and understand where we're coming from, because modesty is being lost. All I said is that I personally watched the Victoria's Secret fashion show, and I follow some of the models on Instagram. That was all I said. I was at Victoria's Secret like 2 weekends ago with my best friend, and we were shopping there. And I got my new perfume because I was out of it. And yeah, we tried on some of their clothes in the fitting room, and we did photo shoots. It was really fun. Like, that's all I said in the video. I think a lot of people misinterpreted the video. The internet is crazy. I can interact with people millions of miles away from me. I'm from Rio Grande do Sul, Brazil, not Rio de Janeiro. Haha, I discovered the internet yesterday, by the way. What if the Covington kids were vegan? Another live stream. I love watching news. Guess if you're just new here, like, look, I'm eating my kale. Oh, I'm almost done with my kale. I love this Catholic song, but the Spanish version of John 6:68. I love Spanish so much. Some of my best friends at my parish in California, they say that, like, Spanish, like, the Bible in Spanish is, like, way better. Like, it's so much more depth and meaning. Greek, 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 Greek. My friend is a PhD student who lives in Dublin, Ireland. Introduce me. What news do you watch? I don't watch the news. I read the New York Times and NPR. I read, I don't listen to the news. Eating your kale only took you 2 hours. Because I'm talking when I'm eating. I eat really slow though, which I really like. If you're trying to lose weight, you should, like, eat slower, because then you, like, know when you feel full. But if you're trying to lose weight, you should just eat, like, high fiber foods and not processed food. They are attacking young Catholics. You should defend them. I don't know. I just, like, can't get behind. Have you ever done a 2K on a rowing machine? No. I don't even know if I've done a rowing machine, but yeah, am just not into rowing. Like, it's not ever gonna be my favorite workout. I thought the Black Hebrew Israelites were at fault with coming against the Catholics. Yeah, they were horrible. They were, like, shouting, like, yeah, it was, like, terrifying. Like, if I was one of the boys, I would have, like, if anyone in the like, if I was the adult chaperone, I would have been like, guys, we're leaving, and walked away, because it was just, like, awful to expose kids to that kind of, like, yelling and abuse. So the Black Hebrew Israelites, anyways, no one knew who their group was. Now everyone knows, and maybe, like, the actual group is chill, but now everyone, like, Greek. I really want to go to Greece. When are you coming to New Mexico? Guys, if you ever want me to, like, visit where you're going, like, you have to, like, get an event going, and you have to, like, pay for me to come travel and speak at your event. So just talk to people in charge of events, and I'll come visit. Names for your future kids. So I'm not that into names, so Trevor will name all of our kids. And I think like my input, I don't want a kid to have a really weird name where they'll like get made fun of, like Athanasius. Like you can't name a kid Athanasius and expect them to have like a normal socializing in school. So yeah, but I don't really care. Oh, I have a girl's name picked out though. I'm not gonna say because it's special to me, but how bodybuilding is seen as Catalog perspective. We learned about the Eucharist today, and I was kind of shocked they didn't go in depth about the Greek words. Trogon, 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 trogon. If you don't know what I'm referring to, I made a video on like real presence, and that's like the word. So, can you dunk in basketball? 1 Peter 3:19-21. Let's see. But he also went and preached into the spirits in prison. Oh, that's talking about sorry guys. That's talking about, so when Jesus died on the cross, he like went to hell and he preached to the people in hell, except for it's not really hell because the Old Testament view of that, anyways, we could do like talk for an hour about like what all these terms mean, but basically all the people who like in the Old Testament who died, like Abraham, Isaac, David, Elijah, everyone part of the Israelites in the Old Testament era and beyond, Jesus went and like preached to them and then brought them into eternal life. So like their souls are in heaven right now. So when in the creed we say, sorry, I can't think of the creed if I don't say it together. He was crucified under Pontius Pilate. He suffered death and was buried. And on the third day rose again according. He suffered death. Wait, I feel like there's part of the creed. Let's see, Nicene Creed. There's part of the creed where we talk about guys, I'm so confused. I thought part of the creed talked about how Jesus went down. I feel so confused, guys. Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh, it's in the Apostles' Creed. Oh, okay. He descended into hell. It's in the Apostles' Creed. Okay. Do you intend to have children? Yes, I want to adopt children as well. I don't know if I'll like being pregnant. I talked about at the beginning of this video about how bipolar is like one of the most dangerous illnesses to be pregnant on. So I don't know. I've been off meds a lot, so I don't know like how my bipolar will be off meds in the future. Yeah, so that's like the main thing. I don't know how it'll go being off meds. You need to get some sleep. Okay, I'll take my medicine soon and go to sleep. How did you get started with a religious YouTube channel? I remember like when I was in high school, I Googled like Devo video, like Christian Devo, and nothing was up. So basically like because no one had a Christian YouTube channel, I'm getting my medication so I can take it. Because there was like no Christian YouTube channels, like I wanted to do that. So I just started talking about my faith and Bible verses I liked and praying. So if you're interested, these are my I think I really messed up. I don't know if anyone anyway. So I take oh, okay, never mind. I thought this had like my like address on it or something, but it doesn't. So quetiapine or Seroquel, I take like, so these are 100 milligram pills, so I can take like 1 to 3. So like in December I was taking 1 of the pills, then I went up to 200, now I take 300 just because I've been more manic. So depending on like how I'm feeling, I take a different ones. And then I take lamotrigine or Lamictal. I take 150 to 150 milligrams. So I'm on 300 milligrams of Lamictal and then 100 to 300 of Seroquel. And if you're curious, if you've been watching from the beginning, this medicine is extremely dangerous to be on when pregnant, and it gives your baby like really horrible like neurological birth defects. Actually, no. This one causes like permanent muscle damage. So if I'm pregnant, I'm probably gonna be manic most of the time because you can take like mood stabilizers that protect from depression, but like all the antipsychotics cause bad birth defects. So I'll just be manic the entire time. I take Latuda and Lorazepam. Seroquel is a strong tranquilizer. Yeah, like it kicks in like immediately. So if I went to a psych ward, they'd probably give me that. Do you practice yoga? I talked about this in my last video. My like addressing your assumptions about me. So 2 videos ago, you can go watch it. Sup, Lizzie, Catholic from California. Yay, where in California do you live? Intense getting inside the bipolar topic. Yeah, that's been a lot of this video. People keep wanting me to make like more bipolar videos because I haven't in a while, but I feel like I like binged and I made like 50 videos about it when I was dealing with it, and now I kind of want to chill and like stop thinking about traumatic things that happened to me because it makes me cry. So I just like last night I was like thinking about like I don't know why, but I was thinking about when I was in depression in college, and I got so emotional and I could feel myself about to start sobbing and like traumatic, and I forced myself and I was like, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real, it's not affecting, you know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna go into depression now. So I was watching this Netflix show, The Haunting of Hill House. Have you guys heard of it? Well, I don't want to spoil it, but one of the characters in the movie, Nellie, the little blonde girl, her like the hallucination she was constantly having, that like really helped me. Like her reaction to it and the meaning of that. If you guys have watched this, let me know. But like because for her, like she was being like traumatized by herself basically. And so I like thought of that and I'm like, it's not real, it's not real. Because I'm not in that place right now. My sister and I are diagnosed with autism. My parents think it's because we got vaccinated when we were young. That's a huge myth. It does not cause autism. What show is it? It's called The Haunting of Hill House. The Haunting of Hill House. It's on Netflix. It's really good. Do you like Ben Shapiro? Somewhat. I watch him sometimes. I like how he responds to pro-choice people. Like my favorite thing is they're like, what if someone is raped? And he's like, that's like 1% of abortions, and anyone who's a rapist should be castrated and killed. Like, I really like that. Yoga is, I guess, super un-Catholic because of its origin and position. Because of the positions? Are you guys serious? Like when you're working out, you're not allowed to like have your butt out if you're stretching. Like that kind of is a spoiler. I know. I don't think it's a spoiler. Like if I'd been told that, I wouldn't have been able to like know what that meant. Facts don't care about your feelings. How do you stay vegan when going to speaking events? Do you arrange for them to make you in advance? My manager is like amazing. Like I don't know what she does, but she like sends them really intense emails and they're like, Lizzie is vegan. She needs like really special attention. So they like go out of their way to give me like vegan food and like vegan snacks and stuff. So Atypical is a good show on Netflix. Yoga is evil. I think like I know this will offend a lot of you, but I literally put like yoga is evil people in the same list as flat earthers in my mind. Our Lady of Good Success. I keep reading that. What are your thoughts on veils? I think it's cool if you want to wear a veil. I was talking about this earlier, how I wear beanies to mass. It's kind of like the American 2019 version of a veil. Do you have friends who are pro-choice? Yeah, my sister is pro-choice. A lot of my friends. I mean, most people I know like don't want abortion completely illegal because they're scared of a black market, but like they don't like it. Like I don't know anyone who like is comfortable with abortion. Getting compared to a flat earther doesn't feel good. The same category? Sorry, I'm gonna talk quieter. People who think that vaccinations cause autism, I also put in the same category as flat earthers. Catholicism is Christianity. Lizzie, research the origin of yoga but we need to go over definitions. Like, I feel like you've never been to a yoga class. Are you a Catholic? Yes, if you're brand new to my channel, I'm Catholic. Make a video about the apparitions, Guadalupe, Fatima, it would be great. I could, yeah, I read a book about Guadalupe, I probably should. Are your speaking events gonna be recorded and put on YouTube? No, I talked to them, the one I'm doing in NorCal. If you guys live in near San Francisco or San Jose, I'm speaking in Turlock on February 16th. I have all the info on my social media, so let people know if you live in NorCal. Vaccinations, I thought they were made with sick, ground up animal organs. No, they're made with the, like, DNA or whatever. Sorry guys, I'm bad at science. They're made with the actual, like, disease. Hi, Eric. Stretching is one thing, but yoga is another. But, like, yoga is just stretching. Like, I don't think you've ever been to a yoga class. Gaming with Jera, I'm so alone. Aw. If you're fine with yoga, then you might as well worship other gods and join other religions. It's the same thing. No. Brazil. I love Brazil. So many of my subscribers are from there. Hi, Alexandra. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take my medicine and go to sleep, and I'm gonna listen to Empire of the Sun. I love you, Marie. I love you, Hosea. Dash. I love you. I love you, Alexandra. Um, Hi, Matthew. Good night. What do you think about the anti I don't know. Say "gur" and "nah" over again. Gur. I don't know if I trust you guys. What time is it there? It's 9:44 p.m. Don't leave us. I know. My friend's sleeping though. She has to work at 5 a.m., so I have to go. Roshio? Roshio? Good night. I love you, Marie. I love you, Tennis Rocks. My name is pronounced Alexandri. Alexandri, I love you. Bye. I love you, awesome boss. It was good. I enjoyed your chat. I love you, Matt. Thanks for being here. Good night, Victor. Good night, Pete. I love you, Carolina. Good night. I love to listening. One, I love you. I'm sorry for my latest comments in your videos. I love your comments so much. I love you, Annabelle. Thank you for doing this. I love you guys. Good night. I love you. You should do this more often. I'm going to. I want to start doing it. I want to start doing it twice a month. So thank you. You're so good to your subscribers. Oh, I love you guys so much. You're like my family. Like the longest relationship I've ever had is like collectively like my YouTube channel, you know, since I was in high school. Good night. Okay, good night. I'm finally gonna go, guys. I'm gonna take my bipolar meds. I love you guys so much. I'll see you in my next video, which is gonna be on Tuesday. Bye. Good night.